Well, first of all, I don't think Lizzo's crew. They're not drinking cocktails. They're getting milkshakes. Ever since that incident, right, where we scarfed down 9 hot dogs like a bunch of losers, right?
Just shooting those things out.
Welcome to this week's very special episode of the In the Bank podcast, featuring your two hosts, myself, Jackson Fanger. Jackson, how are you doing, and why is this episode so special?
Uno, cero, cero, baby. Triple digits. We got fucking 100 of you schmucks to sign up and get our shit in your inbox every time we post. So thank you for coming along. You're the first 100. And here's to the next 100, Rohan.
Well, next goal, first of all, I like the Spanish. You got the little Chapo mustache, and you're walking around like you're a Mexican.
Cabron.
Yeah, well, now the next goal is obviously going to be 1,000. We're really excited. I know we do these things on Zoom. You know, most of you have probably come from our clips. We're going to be doing an in-person studio very soon. Me and Jackson, we are getting married. So we're really excited to do the in-person studio. Hopefully down the line we can start doing some things like a Patreon. Be like the Island Boys making OnlyFans where we're tongue kissing each other, even though we're not brothers, and just like a whole lot more. So it's 100. It doesn't seem like a lot. We're not going to get any award, but from where we started this, right, and like what was it, like December of last year was our first episode. Kind of figuring things out. It's awesome. So thank you guys for 100 subs. I know it's a stupid little accomplishment, but I mean, for what we want to do, you got to chip away at it slowly. So brick by brick.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. In all seriousness, big day for us. Big day for everyone involved. Thanks for being a part of it, and we'll keep hopefully making you laugh.
Yeah. And also, just to announce some things, Jackson will be at the FAT convention on Saturday, October 28th at Temple University, because you guys are super mean to him in the comments, so he will be signing buckets of KFC. Dude, that's a real thing, right? At Temple University.
The FAT convention?
Yes, they're having a FAT convention at Temple University on October 28th.
October 28th. Did you look that up just for me?
Yes.
That's funny. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can make it fit my schedule. Well, I could give him a talk. Yeah, I could give him a talk about, because I've lost like 12 pounds because all you fucking jagaloons in the comments made me self-conscious. So.
Well, you're not allowed to lose. Convention. You're not allowed to lose weight for the FAT convention.
Right.
So it's about like body positive.
Philly Fat Con.
Yep, Philly Fat Con at Temple University.
Dude, what do they do there? They just wants you to be happy being you. What if you suck? Can you still be happy being you if you suck?
Well, I mean, it's not like these people who are going there are, the cream of the crop, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
They're not
judgment-free event focused on. Yeah. Temple. Dude, imagine sending your kids to Temple, You're paying tuition and they're just like,
going to the
you don't need convention. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to, do anything better for yourself. Just show up and fucking eat some donuts with us.
Yeah, I wonder what they do at a FAT convention, right? Because is it just they're gonna, like, who's sponsoring the thing, right? What activities do they have planned out for the attendees?
Right.
How long are the lines? These are not skinny people who can wait outside in the heat, right? It could get hot in a Philadelphia October, right? Well, what does that look like?
Fat friendly fitness classes. Shop an open market with up to 40 vendors, including... Oh, so all those like plus size vendors are going to be there. So if you're like those big and tall, like if you need a suit for a big and tall thing, You can go there. Costume party. There's a costume party. Dude, who's going to go as a whale?
Well, they're all
Who's going to go as a whale?
Well, so you're right or wrong. It's not a costume party. It's a pumpkin contest is what the actual
Gotcha.
It's a pumpkin contest. They're not. So here's what the quote is. Philly FatCon aims to be a judgment-free event focusing on creating a community for fat people by fat people, recognizing those who are often overlooked because of their size. You can't really overlook a fat person, but Ray said,
No.
The idea is to help others navigate this fat-phobic world and society in a different way and provide clothing for people who need it, no matter what your body looks like. Well,
That's beautiful.
if you're a fat person and you're struggling to find clothing, you know what they do. You know what to do. You go to Walmart and you go to the mattress section and you get the queen size sheets and you just make like the Roman
Toga?
You make togas. That's what you can make that. You can get a little skimpy with it, right? You can get a little skimpy with it. Yeah,
dude.
that's,
So
that's
I'm reading this. There's the FatCon Halloween costume party / pumpkin contest featuring a live DJ and burlesque performances. So there's like naughty dancers at this thing. You get a bunch of big fat strippers on the pole, dude, just getting down and dirty. This sounds like a fucking Lizzo concert.
Well, it's not a pole, so it's not a pole. It's like a tree log, right? It's a big log. A pole's a pole. They can't hold up a pole. But, dude, like that kind of sounds like fun, bro. To see a bunch of like fat bitches, like the poles probably look like Twizzlers. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of like some red Twizzlers. Like that honestly kind of sounds like a good time. Like I don't know if I'd be allowed, right?
No, you wouldn't. You're not one of us. You can't come.
Well, you're trying to leave the community. You're the Benedict Arnold for.
I would say I am.
fat people.
I would. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I wouldn't be able to go too, but maybe they would have me. I don't know. I would hope I'm not allowed in. I don't want to be, but maybe they would let me in. I don't fucking know. I don't know where I'm at right now. But what I do know is I think a fatty strip show would be kind of fun. I have a good friend and he has a story. So he was at a strip club one time in Oregon of all places. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like Dead or whatever, but it was packed, but like the energy was super low. And everyone's like, why is everyone here? And he would ask like, why are there so many people here? It's not like, and he's like, they're like, just wait. And the lights go down and they play like the 90s Bulls intro music, like dun, 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 dun. And they're like coming out and out walks a midget. And she's got a name like, I don't remember what he told me the name was, but it was something funny like Short Round or something, And she just gets on the pole and just starts sliding up that thing like to the music, and just the whole place goes nuts. And just one's like crazy, just getting thrown up there. This chick is bathing in money. So like it could be something like that.
Dude,
a bunch of fat midgets.
Oh, a fat midget. Those are like human chodes, huh?
Right.
The human
Get a little chodester up there grinding on that pole, fucking sliding down with a butt cheek on either side of that pole, just sliding the way down.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to a strip club in a minute, right? And I honestly think, like, I know you hate strip clubs because you think they're kind of depressing.
Yeah, not a fan.
Right? Yeah, but like you're not like if you're going to a fat person strip club to get horny, you're just gross, Like I'm there for entertainment. Like I want to look at this and be like, I witnessed this, right? This is legendary.
It's the slant becomes comedic. It goes from tragic to comedic very quickly. If there's some, if they're big fat tubbies, if they're little midgets, if they, if it's like a bunch of circus characters and they've got like, like a Siamese twin stripper, like they're connected at the hip or whatever.
Missing limbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
you got a stripper with you got Joe Pistorius coming out there stripping, you know.
Well, if they got the fat ones, they had diabetes, so they might be missing a foot or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm reading
They
this.
got little peg legs.
Yeah.
Her name's Captain something.
Captain Crunch.
Pirate theme.
Yeah, it's Captain Crunch. Well, I'm reading this, all right? So it's the 3-part convention was a dream that came about after the second annual The Plus Swap, Philly's largest plus-size clothing swap, founded in 2021 by Jagman. The pop-up, which meets at various locations in the city, previously included the Ray Curves Conscious and Harry's Curvies and Seductive, a plus-size lingerie brand. So this started out because Victoria's Secret didn't make double XL undies, right? So, I'm not. You're an English major, and I'm more
right.
like a math. I'm more of a math guy, so my reading comprehension isn't the greatest. What I'm getting here is a bunch of fat bitches would make like underwear and swap. That's what I'm getting.
Were they all pissed that they put a Down syndrome person on the cover before a fat one, or was this before all that?
I mean,
because imagine being a fatty, right? You're sitting there and you're like, God damn it, like no one loves me. I'm such a fatty, and then you see a Down syndrome person on the cover of Victoria's Secret. You're like, oh fucking come on, before me.
Well, what do you think? Well, it's not. Well, first of all, Down syndrome people are awesome, right? Down syndrome people are
love them.
They are the best people.
But if you're a fatty, you'll probably resent her for being on there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, Down syndrome people can't control it too, and fat people can. So, and honestly, I mean, well, you can't say it because you're gonna get the friendly fire comments again. But like most people do not like fat people, bro. Like this is we are in a very fat phobic. Like it's crazy. The United States breeds fat people left and right, but we are a very fat phobic country.
But see, here's the thing: that's a good thing because I got the whole fucking, I got the friendly fire. I got those funny, right? But it was also like, man, it doesn't make me feel very good. So what do? I just sign up for a fucking marathon. I do the whole fucking thing. I've lost 12 pounds. Like fat shaming is good. Like bullying in schools is good. Like we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
You need that in your life. Like you need, if you're a big fatty and all your friends are telling you look good, they're not your friends. They're not your friends.
I mean, Jackson, how many? Obviously, we have the same friend group here. How many times have we called you Tubby? Right? Plenty. How many times have I called you fat on this podcast? Plenty.
Quite a bit.
How many times? How many times has John made fake accounts calling you fat?
I was just gonna say.
Right. So it's not that we want to make you feel bad, but dude. Ever since that incident, right, where we scarfed down 9 hot dogs like a bunch of losers, right? Or we spent our Saturday night with 9 other guys fucking deep-throating hot dogs and throwing up. Dude, our life has went up for the better. So it's not, so this shit works, right? Like the fat shaming, it absolutely works.
Yeah, dude. There's nothing like it's a little bit of fat shaming and then waking up in the morning after all that, after a bunch of hot dogs, beer, and tequila, and being just shitting your brains out in a toilet and just thinking, what is my life? I'm 25 years old and I'm fucking shitting out 9 hot dogs right now, and it's just hot. It's hot water, and it's painful. I hate it.
Yeah.
That's people need that.
Okay, wait. I have a question. What happened? Okay, there was an article about Lizzo fat shaming and essaying some employees or some shit. I don't know. So tell me what happened there. Enlighten me.
So of our now 104 subscribers, that Lizzo and I got some fucking beef, and I've also got beef with Lizzo fans. So when this headline came out, I was fucking stoked. And so she wasn't really like she was being a bitch, but what she was doing is like sexually harassing her dancers. And so one of the things is there was like what's funny too is all of her dancers look like her, right? Like not quite as large, but they have the same sort of like she doesn't have a bunch of right. And let me go back to the article here just so to make sure I'm not providing false information, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of things. She fat shamed them. She made them do sexual acts. One of the things they did is they had to eat a banana out of a stripper's vagina at a strip club. So
I don't think that's
she's
real.
making her. I think it is. I'm reading it right now. It's on
no. But
NBC.
I don't think that's a real accusation. I think that's fabricated by the dancers. Because if it was Lizzo, if they said something like extra large,
you're saying they're lying.
Yeah. Like if
okay.
Here's the thing: if the dancers made a story like Lizzo made us eat like a extra large deep fried mozzarella stick out of a stripper's hole, I totally would have believed it. A banana
churro.
Yeah, a churro, a pickle, even, right?
Right.
I like if they said even a chocolate-covered banana, right? But a fruit by itself, I don't believe that. That I do not believe. But
the
anyway,
dancers accused Lizzo of calling attention to one dancer's weight gain. That's funny. Berated her for being unhealthy. Dude,
friendly fire, dude.
Right. There's not even anything funny like to add on to this. Like the headline is the joke.
Friendly fire. All right. That is what friendly fire looks like. Okay, how much of this do we actually... Because here's the thing. I feel kind of bad for Lizzo. I think the internet has went a little bit too hard on her, right? Like, she does some gross shit, like twerking at the Lakers game with, like, the big hole. Like, right? But how much of this is actually real? Like, realistically.
Well, so that's a good... So, like, there's... Because I'm with you kind of. Like, I don't... innocent till proven guilty and all that. But God, is this funny,
Oh, no. It's hilarious.
There's multiple dancers. The suit names Lizzo as a defendant, hostile work environment and sexual harassment, religious and racial harassment. So she sounds like big fat black Ellen is what she sounds like. Just like a really mean... The stunning nature of how Lizzo and her management team treated their performers seems to go against everything Lizzo stands for publicly. Yeah. Well,
Okay, so here's
calling
another...
attention to the dancer's weight after an appearance at a music festival. Yeah. Could you imagine if fucking Lizzo's calling you fat?
Yeah, that's...
It's like imagine you're working with Lizzo, right? You're on the tour bus or whatever, and she's like, "Hey, before we go to the next stop, let's take a walk." And you're like, "Okay, sure." You go on a walk with Lizzo, and fucking the ground shaking underneath you. You see the little the puddles, vibrating and shit. And she's like, "Listen, man, you really got to get your weight under control. Like it's."
Oh my God! It's like, have you seen
we're all so worried about you. We're so worried about you, and I really care about you. You need to, start eating healthier. When we go out, maybe don't have as many cocktails. And you're sitting there like, what are you talking about?
Well, first of all, I don't think Lizzo's crew, they're not drinking cocktails. They're getting milkshakes. Like, it's not
right.
They're not
spiked milkshake. Yeah,
no, just regular milkshakes. If they're spiking it, it's just extra sugar. All right, so let's clear that up out the way. I can't believe this. I don't know. It's too crazy of a concept for me to believe Lizzo is telling fat people to like lose weight, you know? Like I think it
I
was
could
just
see
maybe
it.
no,
She's
dude.
hurt.
Like I can
Yeah,
hear like this one.
Lizzo said she's hurt and called the claims false, unbelievable, outrageous. Began performing with Lizzo on Watch Out for the Big Girls. The title. Dude, what do you think sells more tickets? Fucking Watch Out for the Big Girls or the WNBA championship? None of those sound enticing to watch at all.
Watch Out for the Big Girl sounds kind of fun. Like I mean, we were just talking about how we want to. Maybe they're trying to perform at FatCon.
Would you? I guess, yeah. Amsterdam club accusation. So here's the thing. She would throw these after parties that were mandatory for her team and began inviting cast members to take turns touching new performers, catching dildos launched from the vagina.
It's like, dude, it's like at an NBA game. They have like the t-shirt cannon.
Just fucking legs up. Just shooting those things out. and they're all going like me. She's like rotating. It's just fucking like covering her eyes.
Dude, we have to go to FatCon, bro.
Who's getting it? Fucking.
We have to go to we got to go to FatCon, dude. We have to go to FatCon. We have to go to FatCon. If this is the shit they're
eating bananas protruding from performers' vaginas. Turned attention to Miss Davis and began pressuring her to touch the breasts of the dancers. And then she declined, and then Lizzo led a chant that said it was like pure pressure. Like, what is the chant? Like, touch her titty. Dun, dun. The chant grew louder and more strident, demanding well, when Davis eventually, the group burst into laughter. This honestly sounds like a bunch of dudes at a bachelor party.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
you know.
So this is maybe
like just a bunch of degenerates.
This is maybe what happened. Okay, all right. This is what I think happened and what the narrative that's coming out, right? Because I want to defend Lizzo because, like I said, I feel really bad for her all the time because everyone just shits on her, right? So this is what I think happened. Now, let's talk about the dancing thing. Number one, I think one of the dancers lost their breath on stage. All right, like Nikola Jokic is a fat guy. All right, but that dude has incredible cardio. You know,
great shape.
I think Lizzo was like, hey, listen, if you want to be a dancer, you know, you can't be taking a water break 2 minutes into a song, right? Like you can't be taking a water. So I think Lizzo just tried to do that. Okay, I think that is what happened there. And then the second thing with the like bananas and the strippers, I think that happened. And I just think they just all got drunk. They all had a bunch of fun. I think they're taking it out of context of like, you know, it's like I think maybe there's a bunch of like dweebs who don't have a good time.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can say no. Like you don't have to get pressured into, you know, touching the.
Well, if you are not hyped up for the dildo t-shirt gun, like I don't know, you're not a fun person. Like if you're not up there like a bride at a wedding going like or a bridesmaid at a wedding like I want the bouquet, like throw it to me.
Yeah.
Like if that's not you, you're not a fun person because that sounds electric. Could you imagine just someone up on the stage just shooting those things out and like load one back in, cock it up, fucking shoot it out again?
You ever see like the football, like the machine that like they have like the two spin discs and you put
the jugs machine?
Yeah, to catch the punts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why the Washington Redskins or the Washington football team, their team, that's what they've been missing. Their special team sucks for a reason.
Yeah. What do you think would be harder? So that's a question. If you get an NFL punt returner, right? You know, like, have you seen where they like try to catch a bunch of different balls and hold them all at the same time?
I think like those clips where they're like
It's
one,
like
two, and then they're like stacking them and like trying to do that thing.
exactly like you'll see it
Oh,
on
yeah.
like Hard Knocks sometimes. How many dildos do you think they could do? Because they're smaller, but they kind of slip.
Uh, Let me think. Okay, how big are we talking? Are we talking average white guy, Asian, black?
Let's go. Let's go below average black. So like plus white, below average black, like in that
Okay.
range.
So like a white SoundCloud rapper. Okay.
Right. Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin. Easy. So okay, so like in terms of the girth, right? This is not gay, by the way. This is just like I'm
We're just talking dicks.
yeah, and this is math, right? Like I'm Indian. This is math, right? Right. Like you can maybe you can maybe get like a few in between the fingers, right? Like really stretch him out. It's like kind of like a claw, you know what I mean? All right, and then you can
Like a
maybe kinda,
Wolverine.
yeah, so you can kind of do that. Yeah, exactly. Right. You're like a kinky Wolverine, and you kind of have them just kind of sticking out your hand. You can probably hold like 3 or 4, right? If you have it at the nuts in between 3 fingers, let's do 3 fingers, all right? You can probably hold 3 like a Wolverine, right? Which I think Wolverine is only 3 claws. You can probably scarf maybe like 5 in your hand. Can you tuck them into your pants or like hold them in between your legs and shit, or only hands?
Let's say, well, so the guy who did I think the record, at least that I've seen with the footballs, is 9, and he's carrying them all in like his hands and arms, I think, and he might put them between his legs, but like I don't think so.
So we're just gonna say you can just use your upper body.
There's no
then.
pockets or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll say upper body, and you can kind of like cradle it. Well, here's the thing, right? You have to have like a little bit of a tighter cradle because like one of those things can just slip out, right? They might not be thick enough, so they might just slip out. So I think maybe 25, I can say 25, 30.
Yeah, I like that number.
I think 25.
I think
30s.
I think if they like trained for it and got the apparatus down, because it's a little bit, because as soon as one of those things, you know, like you're carrying like a bunch of
groceries.
like groceries, and one of them like sort of slips out and hits the floor, and it's like you could have carried it, but it's just like you didn't have the tension right.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have the 4 points of contact. I think once they figure that out and like figured out the strategy, I like that number. I like 25.
25. That's.
Would you think it'd be easier to catch a dildo on a spiral, like it's coming at you like a football, or it's going end over end?
No, spiral for sure. Because I'd be catching those things like this, right? Like here's the mic. So this is the mic, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like coming to me. I'm right like that, like kind of like one-handed,
snagging it.
Yeah, like it's like I'm like, or like if you want to do it like Odell, right? You can, put the mic up a bit, just right, bring it all the way back. Yeah, dude, if they have that at FatCon, we gotta go. That's gotta be the new way to do T-shirt throwings too. That's what FatCon's gonna look like, bro. It's just gonna be. Maybe this is all. Maybe this is all marketing to prepare for a FatCon like special, like a special performance. You know. It's like when Schultz brought out Santino right after we went to go watch Schultz. Like,
Bit of a bummer that was we went to Schultz had 2 shows that night. We went to the first one. Second one, he brings out Andrew Santino. Bit of a bummer we didn't go to the second one. First show was still great though.
No, it was phenomenal. I don't think Santino even did a. Santino didn't even have that long of a bit from what I saw.
Yeah, they probably just like shot the shit,
Yeah, for like a couple minutes. Well, Santino was
Improv
there
a little
for
bit.
the. Yeah, I think Santino was there for the Bobby Lee because him and Bobby Lee were doing the.
Yeah, Bad Friends was live.
Yeah, I've always been curious what a live podcast actually looks like. I'll never go to one. I think it's kind of weird, but.
Yeah, it's you know who does a good one is, have you ever watched Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and Christina P, his wife?
I've not watched it. I know what it is. I've seen their clips, but I've not watched the whole episode.
That's one of my favorite shows, and I think they were one of the first people to do like the live thing, and they don't like tour it, you know, but they'll do like a YMH live every once in a while. And the way they'll also live stream it too. So you can like buy the live stream for like $5. And it's they do a really good job with it. It's almost like an episode of SNL kind of. Like there's a bunch of skits, there's some sketches, there's some improv, they have a guest on. It's like a bunch of different stuff going on. It's pretty cool. If it's done well, it's pretty cool. And I'm sure they do it well too. But
so that's actually interesting to me because I would not want to pay for some shit where it's like you're paying $5 and it's just them talking about if it's just him and Bert, for example. Like I don't want to pay $5 to hear Bert Kreischer do this screech laugh. But like the fact that they have skits, it's like properly planned out. Right, that's actually pretty cool. So I understand the value, and also comedians, these like Tom Segura, is also very like cares about his fans a lot, and I mean all these big comedians do. So
if you're that big and you've been doing it for a while, you definitely have earned some goodwill. You know. Yeah.
Even yesterday we were wanting to go to to Brendan Schaub's to Brendan Schaub's thing.
The old Brenda.
Well, I kind of wish I went because I know the opening act. He's a really nice guy, really funny too. I kind of wish we went just to heckle. That would have been kind of. I don't want to get banned from stand up live.
I don't like paying a bunch of money to heckle, and it's not like it was a bunch of money, but it's like once you go there, you park, you fucking eat, you get in there.
To me,
buy 2 drinks.
So, let me be clear. To me, heckling is not when he's going and like screaming shit. That's not what I meant. I meant like I wanted to show up in a PF Chang's hat, like a PF Chang's uniform. Like I wanted to do that. Like that's heckling. I was not gonna go and do anything to disrupt. Right. Because it's very. Because I mean, because he's not like a guy who I think will like if he's getting heckled would handle it very well, right? But I think I'm a homeless guy. I'm a part of the culture, so.
I would assume he's got some experience handling that stuff.
No.
What I like, he probably gets some of that at every show. You know what I mean?
Nah, his fan base is so strong on Reddit where it's like I don't think well, first of all, they're not like the people who are gonna spend money to actually go see like Schaub, right? They're probably actually genuinely like fans of him from MMA he's a great podcaster. So from the podcast, they're just kind of. Right, it's like King Batch, right? There's like people who like King Batch's stand up he's not a stand up, right? But like people like his vines so much, right? That they'll just go just to go check him out, right? So
well, that's like an example of that would be like let's say Chael Sonnen did a stand up tour. I would buy tickets just to support Chael, not because I think I'm getting like the best stand-up product. Like I think he'd tell some good jokes and it'd be a good time, but it's like I would pay for like a full stand-up live ticket to go see him just to support him because I consume so much of his free shit.
Yeah,
like like he puts out like 3 videos a day. I watch every single one of them.
Yeah, you're a mega fan. You're a groupie.
I'm a huge Chael Sonnen fan. I am a groupie.
Okay.
Like if I met him in person, I'd be embarrassed by my behavior. Probably, I'd like start like I like wouldn't be able to talk. Oh my god, it's fucking Chael Sonnen. Oh my god.
Has there been any professional athletes that have made the transition into stand up at all?
Other than Brendan Schaub, I know Pat McAfee did a stand up tour. I don't think it went super well. Stand-up is different, and it's
difficult.
Yeah, like
it's not easy.
And he was like doing, you know, like he would have done stand-up live, and like to do a room that big and that where people pay that much, it's like you need to have some real fucking experience, you know. It's like be able to manage all that. So it's just I don't think it went super well, but I think he did one at one point. There was a guy on Hard Knocks who plays for the Cowboys, and I don't think he was like a backup on the defensive line. He did stand up like in his free time. He was like an open micer.
Mm-hmm.
That was on Hard Knocks. I'm trying to think if there's any others. I bet you like there's some pro wrestlers maybe who've tried it, because those guys are.
I would have guessed like Shaq, like was someone who would definitely have tried it before.
I could see Shaq try it. Shaq does everything. He's like a DJ.
Here, I'm finding an article. Let's see. Blake Griffin. Oh, Blake Griffin. He did the roast.
Right.
He was good. Blake Griffin's roast was actually really good. He was.
There's another one. He did a spot in, I think it was in Canada, and he told a story about when he was a rookie, his veterans took him to a strip club or something, and it's apparently really funny. I haven't heard
Blake's
it.
Blake's a funny guy.
But you can find that bit on the internet, I think, and it's apparently pretty damn funny.
Okay, we'll definitely watch that. Has there been any roasts as of recent?
Like a Comedy Central roast.
Yeah, I know the Bieber one. That one was a really good one. Like Chris D'Elia was on it. Shaq.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
The most recent one is, God damn it. The most recent one was Bob Saget, and he died like a year ago. So it's probably been a while. Yeah, he's a OG comic too. Really funny guy.
Yeah. I mean, normally I really enjoyed watching all the roasts. Every single year it was pretty much. Oh wait, no, was it? Okay, that's notable audience members. Did Alec Baldwin have a roast?
That was a while ago. That was like before he killed that guy.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't think he would do it now.
The Rob Lowe roast was really funny because they had Ann Coulter on it, right? Do you know who Ann Coulter is?
Yeah, they just roasted Ann Coulter the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't even know what the like. That was such a dumb decision to bring her on because everyone just made fun of her. That was the only time when I heard a Pete Davidson joke, and I'm like, holy shit, this is hilarious. When he was like, Pete Davidson had a joke. It was like, last year we had Martha Stewart who sells bed sheets. So we have Ann Coulter who makes holes out of them and puts it on her head. I think
they did not like her.
Yeah.
The Trump one is good.
Yeah, but that was before Trump went presidential.
Yeah,
because that Ann Coulter, dude, Rob Lowe. It's not even his roast, to be honest. Everyone was just shitting on. And the Bieber one, the Bieber one was very popular. That one was.
The Bieber one was good.
James Franco one I thought was good.
I don't think I ever saw that one.
That one I thought was pretty good. The Roseanne, she had one. Charlie
Roseanne
Sheen.
Barr.
Yeah. Charlie Sheen had one with Seth MacFarlane.
Remember when Charlie Sheen was just freaking out?
Yeah, I mean...
Like in 2010. It was hilarious.
Dude, I mean, Charlie Sheen also was like on top of the world. I think at one point he was like the highest paid actor, right?
Yeah, that show, he made it...
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men was like, everybody was watching that for a long time.
So good. Do you remember like... 2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory, like on TBS, they had like those like it was like kind of like back to back. Do you remember that, or did you only watch 2.5 Men?
I remember that when that was on TV. I was never been a big like live sitcom guy. I usually watched like cartoons, so I was like watching Family Guy and South Park, and what's the other one? Seth MacFarlane. I watched American Dad.
Cleveland Show was there.
The Simpsons
too.
Here and there. Yeah, I didn't watch the Cleveland Show much. Maybe that makes me a racist, but
Cleveland Show was Cleveland Show was good. It was really short lived.
Cleveland's better on Family Guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, dude, Two and a Half Men. Even when they replaced Charlie with Ashton Kutcher, it was still a good show.
Mm-hmm.
The last episode, they never added Charlie back, which I was really hoping they did when I was a kid.
Really?
But yeah, dude, I mean, Charlie Sheen's a character, dude. Like that dude claims he beat AIDS. Like,
Yeah.
like
He's
Like-
he's a fucking wild. Have you seen the thing where he's like talking about how he has tiger blood?
no, what is that? I've heard
does
that
it-
rant. I've heard about it, but I never. I don't know
Yeah,
what
it was
happened.
like it was when he like, was everyone was mad that he like was doing all this coke and banging all these hookers and stuff. And he was doing an interview about it, and they were asking him like if he regrets anything, and he's like, "Nah, man. Like it's the winning where he goes like, I'm winning. I'm always winning."
Yeah.
And then at one point during that, he's like, "I'm different than you. I have tiger blood. Like I'm just different. You don't understand."
well,
Just fucking awesome. Just,
well
I
now
love,
he has
I
Magic
love people
Johnson
who are that
blood.
confident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I would like 10% of that. Like when I see Conor McGregor doing crazy shit, I'm just like, I just need like 10% of that. Like that'd be perfect.
Just a teensy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm curious. So that was the last I heard of Charlie Sheen. He doesn't have tiger blood anymore. He has more like Magic Johnson blood. But how did he? Because I remember they said Charlie Sheen went to Mexico and like got some treatment done, and he's like not HIV positive anymore, right? He did something where it like won't even show in the system, right? When he does a blood test.
He injected money into his bloodstream.
No, there's something. Okay, in 2015. Damn. So yeah, in 2015 he had HIV. Or he went public with HIV in 2015, and then it was 4 years after he got diagnosed.
Okay. Have you seen that South Park where they get the kids get AIDS?
No.
So so Cartman gets AIDS. Kyle thinks it's funny. So Cartman gives Kyle AIDS. And then they both have AIDS. And they're trying to find a cure for it. And they're like, who has beaten AIDS? And they're like, Magic Johnson has had AIDS for years and he's fine. So they go to Magic Johnson's house and they're trying to figure out like why he's beaten AIDS. And then they realize he's sleeping on a bed of just money, just cash money. And then it's like, oh, if you have money, you can beat AIDS. And so they just start injecting like dollar bills into people's bloodstream and cure AIDS.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's my story for today.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. What was I gonna say? Dude, yeah, I'm trying to actually find. So Fox News actually just made an article about Charlie Sheen. He's actually making his TV comeback pretty soon.
What's he going to be on?
He is going to. So he's reteam. Okay, here. Charlie Sheen is reportedly reteaming with Two and a Half Men creator Chuck Lorre for a new Max series 12 years after their feud. So why did Charlie Sheen end up leaving Two and a Half Men? I actually never knew that.
I think it was because of the whole cocaine and hookers thing. Like he got a lot of bad press for that.
But like, I mean, they kind of played into what his character was on the show.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe he did something illegal. When he was?
Who knows, dude? I mean, that dude's probably done millions of different illegal things, bro.
Right.
Well, do you remember the
Charlie Harper?
Do you remember the kid?
He went
who
to
was on?
rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in rehab, and they were like, they didn't want to deal with it, I guess. So they brought in Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton
Kutcher.
Do you remember the kid who was on Two and a Half Men, Jake?
Yeah.
He came out like years later, calling the TV show filth, and like he became like a super diehard Christian, and like one of those indoctrinated ones. And he went back. He was calling the TV show filth, the disgusting. He like has a bunch of regrets about it. Have you seen that? Very weird, bro.
That is weird. What is who is Was John Cryer the other guy? Is that his name?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
What's he up
Yeah,
to?
John Cryer. I don't know. Have you met anyone who's been like indoctrinated into like a religious cult,
A religious cult.
or like they've become so religious it's almost like cult like?
I have a couple. So I've met a few Mormons who I've met cool Mormons who are like normal people, and I've met really weird Mormons. And I also have gone into a Scientology center and done like the whole personality test with all that.
Wait. What's that?
Yeah.
What's the
So
Scientology personality test?
so in Scientology, there's very long story short. So I think Scientology is hilarious and silly, and there's a lot of controversy around it. So I like shit like that. And so I went into one of these one day when I was in college, and just acted like I was interested. Was like, oh, Tom Cruise does it. You know, I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. So like, and so I kind of went in like that, just played dumb. And what they do is they take you in the back, and I went with my buddy, and they split us into two different rooms, and they give you I think it's called an e-reader. I think it's what's called. It's a something reader, and you have your hands are on like two metal rods, and it's supposed to be reading what they call thetans, and thetans are like little souls in your body that have died, but you don't know that at this point, right? But I knew it because I read all the stuff. But you're not supposed to know that when you go in. So you go in and you're holding the thing. They're just like, all right, hold this for me, and they start asking you like super general questions, like, have you ever in your life felt sad, or have you ever in your life felt like something was wrong that you couldn't quite put your finger on, right? Or have you ever felt, they ask you a bunch of questions like that, and you answer like yes to a lot of them, right? Because like, have you ever felt sad? Yes, I have. It's a lot of that stuff, right? And then they say some shit like, I think what they told me was, so it sounds like, there's a lot of, stuff going on with you. It sounds like, there's a lot of unhappiness there. And I was like, probably not more than anyone else, but, maybe. And they're like, well, so here's the thing is Scientology can help you with that. It's helped me. And they like kind of give you the whole sales pitch. And they didn't tell me all this because they don't give away the secrets until you like sort of buy in and do the whole deal. But all those thetans in your body are like different souls that are going in different directions. And you have to go in and get what they call audited. And so it's almost like going to confession in church, and they audit you. So you're like, I did this wrong. And they film these things and put it in their records. And then, but when you come clean with everything, your thetans get aligned, and the whole time you're holding the e-reader, and so your thetans get aligned, and so you're supposed to feel better. And as you go through the process and you pay different amounts of money and you do enough audits, you go up different, what they're called OT levels. So there's like OT1, OT2, it goes up to OT8. And there's different parts of the Scientology faith that get revealed at each OT level. So like, have you heard of Xenu, the
No.
like evil overlord? Okay, so Scientology believes that there's this evil, like thousands, millions, billions of years ago, there's evil overlord Xenu who ruled like the Galactic Federation. Like this is their religion. And he killed a bunch of people in his thing. He was like a very bad leader, and he killed a bunch of people and then put them in the volcanoes of Earth. And all those people, all those aliens that died became the thetans, and the thetans flew into humans. And that's why humans are intelligent, is because we have alien souls inside of us. But because we have so many different ones, and they were all murdered and they're scared, like that's where human anxiety comes from. And so getting those thetans inside you to calm down is what's called going clear. Like if you're clear, you're at optimum human capacity or whatever, and that's when all your thetans are aligned and going in the same direction. So like Tom Cruise, super clear, and that's why he's able to do all these stunts, is what like they believe, right?
That's the stupidest shit I ever heard.
It's yeah. And so I went in and sort of got the intro, and then when I was leaving, I was with my buddy, and they were like really trying to get our contact information so they could light us up. Like, you and I are in sales, we know it's like if you let them get out the door, they're never coming back. And so they do that shit, and they're like, "Come on, like give us your email, give us your phone number." We're like, "I don't know, I'll come back next week." Like I'll did that whole thing, but they were like really pushy on our way out. Like they really wanted you to sign up because like back in the 70s there wasn't the internet. And so you'd meet these super charismatic people, and you'd be like, "Man, like what happened? Like, how are you so energetic?" And they're like, "Man, it's Scientology." And so you got a lot of people signing up for it. But now that there's the internet, all the crazy shit about it is public record. Yeah. And so they don't have anyone sign up anymore. The only reason they still exist is they own like half the real estate in Los Angeles. So they're like they're worth a ton of fucking money.
Wait, how did that happen? Did they own all that real estate? Because I thought like Asia owned all the real estate in LA. I didn't know it was a Scientology.
Yeah. Scientology owns I don't know if it's half anymore, but at one point it was half, and I think it's still a shit ton. And back in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, they had a bunch of wealthy people join it, and they bought land. You know who Grant Cardone is?
Yes.
He's a Scientologist.
Okay, makes sense.
He's a Scientologist. Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Leah Remini was one, but they're kind of like a mafia too. So the guy who's the boss of it, his name is David Miscavige, and he like put hits out on his father. There's a really good episode. Joe Rogan interviews David Miscavige's father, who left the Church of Scientology, and his son is the leader of it right now. And that's a crazy interesting interview. It's like an older episode too. They did it years ago, and it's like really interesting. Scientology is wacky. So to answer your question, that's probably the wackiest people I've ever met.
Wait, why did David Miscavige put a hit on his own father?
So his dad left the church, which is a big no-no. So Leah Remini, who's a famous actress, she was on like King of Queens, I think, with Kevin James. That chick was a Scientologist. She left too. And when you leave the church, they don't like it because usually when people leave, it's because they realize how silly it is, or they're doing shady kind of illegal shit. Like there's a lot of stuff about Tom Cruise and his ex-wives that's like very questionable. And so when people leave, they don't like it, and they kind of apparently, from what the people who leave say, is they take all that audit information they got about you. So if you go in, you get audited, and you say, "I did this thing." Or I did this thing and that bad thing. They kind of come back at you and hold that over your head. That's one of the things they do to like try and get you back in the fold. It's very like controlling. And then the father left the church, and he was like talking shit about it in the media. He was talking shit about his son in the media. And I don't know if he officially put a hit out on him, but what the dad did do is realize someone that was following him. He kept seeing the same car in his driveway a bunch. And so he called the cops. The cops came, and they searched this guy's car, and they found like assault rifles with like thousands of rounds of ammunition and pictures of the father in the car. So it's like they were staking him out for who knows what reason, right? But there's some weird shit with them. It's a really weird organization. It's kind of like a religious mafia. It's very strange. There's a lot of money in it. Like Tom Cruise, I love Tom Cruise. But like he has like, depending how you look on it, he has like slaves. Like he has people who work for him for free who think he's like Jesus, and he's here to like save the world.
Wow. Wait, the people who work at the Scientology church will work for Tom Cruise for free, pretty much. Yeah.
So there's the Scientology headquarters in LA, and then there's another place called the Celebrity Center. And it's like a place that only the famous people are let in. They really try to get famous people. It's like their marketing strategy. And so like Tom Cruise is in there. John Travolta's in there. They each have like specific titles within the church. And like Tom Cruise is, this is in like leaked documents, and the church says it isn't real, but then they sue people for leaking them because they broke trademark. And so you can't trademark something that isn't real. So the church says they're not real. Evidence says that they are. But in these documents, it says like Tom Cruise is essentially here to like save the world by making people happy and making movies. And then there's other rules. Like if there's like a rule in there, if someone with John Travolta or Tom Cruise or David Miscavige, like if they have a high enough title, there's like a rule in there. If you see them doing something illegal, like including murdering someone, you have to help them cover it up. Because it's like for the advancement of society. Like they can't do anything wrong. So it's like if they do something wrong, it's because it was the right thing to do. So you have to help them get away with it.
Fair. Okay, so you mentioned advancement to society. So what's like their end goal? Like, because like in like the extremists in like like in Islam, like the extremists, right? And I think Islam, like I'm not. Let's be clear. I like Islam as a religion. All right, but there are the extremists in ISIS. Like their goal is like to establish like the caliphate, right? Or it's like what ISIS and Al Qaeda were trying to establish the caliphate. So what for the Scientology guys? Like what is their end goal?
That's a good question. So the guy who made it, his name's L. Ron Hubbard, and he was a science fiction writer. So he would write like books that were like Star Trek or Star Wars, like in that kind of realm. And he was writing those for a while, and then he comes out with this book. It was like a self-help book called Dianetics. And there's actually some good stuff in Dianetics. That's like how they lure you in, because it's like, it's like forgive people, like do the right thing. It's a book, it's the same self-help book that comes out every once in a while. You know what I mean? There's nothing like groundbreaking in it, but it's also nothing like wrong, right? And so he wrote that book, and then from that book, he like kind of branched it out. He had a bunch of people like drinking the Dianetics Kool-Aid. And so he made this Scientology thing. And then it's kind of like it just seems like it's a business. Like,
no, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. Yeah. It's like, it's not, there's no, cause like you could argue like Christianity, like when it was coming up, like I grew up Catholic, but like when Christianity was coming up in like the Middle Ages and stuff, like, it was they ran it like a business. Like it was about controlling different regions in Europe. Like, they did like crusades in the Middle East to gain land. Like it was very like political and like power and money, very like economic and for the world. So I don't know. It's probably something similar like that. I think this guy, L. Ron Hubbard, had an idea that he found out he could make a lot of money on. It seemed like he wasn't the most sound guy in his head. Like he probably had some, narcissistic or sociopathic tendencies, because he made this boat. I forget what the boat's called, but he was wanted for different like tax evasion things. And so he started living on a boat so they couldn't arrest him. He would like live on this boat off the coast of Florida and like just be like just in international waters, so they like couldn't arrest him. And he would like run the church from there. And then they got tax exempt status. And then when they got that, he was able to come back and they did the whole thing. But I think he probably just found out that this thing could make him a lot of money. Yeah. And then it just took off from there. And now the people who are at the top of it own all this real estate and have all this money, and it's kind of, Grant Cardone does venture capital, all this kind of stuff. So I think it's just like networking of a certain group of people that are very wealthy. And then if you're a schmuck who doesn't check the internet before you join, that's another thing too that's kind of sketchy about it, is like to go up to different OT levels. It's not like you have to pay. You have to pay a lot of money to like get the literature to read, pay to get audited, and it's like it's very expensive to get to the top of it, which is kind of, if it's definitely taking advantage of people who actually believe in it. But at this juncture, if it's in 2023, if you're still like a practicing Scientologist, especially on the lower level. You're just a grunt. It's like you need to read a book because there's a lot of information about how you're getting fucked over there. But
no, I mean the way you explained it to me, right? Even obviously you explained it with bias, right? Like against it. Like even when I was listening to what you were saying, I took that out, and I'm like, dude, this doesn't make sense. Like there's no, it just doesn't. Like if someone explained like religion to me, right? I can be like, okay, like when people try to explain religion, like the end goal is, to better your life, to have like to me, this just seems like a big pyramid scheme, right? Where you're just doing dirty work for really rich people. You get in a bunch of great salespeople who are really good at convincing people like that. It's like a fraternity, right? It's like a fraternity. So and like I said, it's more of a mafia. But I mean, here's the thing. At least in like the real mafia, right? Like you can technically pay your way up, but like paying your way up means you actually like did the work to get the money into the org. Right? Like someone like Michael Francesca. Very famous. He does like all the podcasts with like Patrick Bet-David and stuff like that. He wasn't a killer, right? Someone like Sammy the Bull Gravano who would just murk people. But Michael became a made man because he ran like Ponzi schemes with the oil companies that made a lot of money for the mafia. So they and that's what you like respect about it. It's like, all right, you know what you're getting into, and it's not bullshit. Like it's not bullshit in the sense that they're not lying to you. It's like, listen, our goal is to make money and establish dominance in a territory, right? So you can either kill your way up, right? You can be a Sammy the Bull, who he ratted, right? You can be a Sammy the Bull Gravano to become a made man, or you can, you have to. I think the rule with the mafia is like you have to. It's like a certain type of Italian you have to be, and then like you have to be related to somebody else, some shit like that to be allowed to be a made man, something like that, right? So that
I think it's Sicily. You got to come from
Sicily.
Your family's got to come from Sicily, yeah.
You got to come from Sicily. Yeah. The Italian mob stuff really fucking interests me, right? Because to me, modern American gang culture is just kind of bullshit. Like I think the Ricos that they place now are just like kind of fucking stupid, right? Like it doesn't seem like real. It's not, to me, it's not organized crime. Like telling people over text message and Instagram DMs you want them killed is fucking not organized. That's stupid, right?
Yeah.
But like,
well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you see like The Godfather and like the real structure and like the real rules behind, this shit's like a made man can't kill another made man. Like that shit's like dope to me.
Well, a lot of those families now are just kind of like transition into being like completely legit. But like in Vegas, so there's this lake because the world's hot right now. There's this lake in Vegas, like down in that like Tahoe, Reno kind of area where like, in like The Godfather, like the Corleones sort of started taking over. But in the real world, that lake is drying up, and they're like finding bodies of people who were just, not all of them obviously, but some of them are like just missing persons that had shady connections with the mafia. They're just finding these bodies in this lake. And so that's interesting, but a lot of them are legit now. But so I used to work in security, like cybersecurity, and one of my territories was Nevada, and we would sell into Nevada, and there's this thing called the Nevada Gaming Commission, and we wanted to sell to casinos in Nevada, but the Nevada Gaming Commission was like owned by people essentially who either used to be or are still in the mafia. They're like mafia families that have gone legit and just own a bunch of casinos now and make a bunch of money. But like everyone's still kind of afraid of them. So it's a lot of that stuff's just gone legit now. It's harder to do illegal stuff now too, with like there's cameras everywhere. Fucking, DNA evidence is like really good now. You can't. It's the illegal shit. It's a lot harder to do now, I think. Not that I would know. I'm no fucking. I'm a dork.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, so with the actually, that's funny you said. So for one, I don't remember which Italian gangster it was, but he was just saying that the reason that a lot of these families fell was one because it's really easy to catch people, and by the
Yep.
time they get to court, they just rat, right? Like
Right.
the top of the family, right? Because like in the '80s, like Michael Francesca, like a lot of people say he's a narc, right? Whatever, but his dad Sonny was a fucking real gangster. Like he would never talk to the right. Like those guys would never ever talk to a cop. These guys will talk in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. They'll flip it. They'll change the definitions of what it means to snitch, right? Because it's just evidence is too easy to gather now, right? Technology is too advanced, and I wanted to actually
Yeah.
talk to you. So I don't know the story, 100% authentic, right? But there is a family, one of the five families. I don't know where they live, but the head of the family got murdered. Who do you think he got murdered by? Who do you think he got murdered by?
I have two guesses. Either some random Joe Schmo or like the wife.
Okay, so here's the story. There was the head of the family. He had a daughter, and then
Okay.
the daughter's ex-boyfriend murdered the guy. Some random Joe Schmo just killed
Yeah.
the guy, and he didn't get hit. I think he's still probably alive in prison right now, which wouldn't have happened in the 70s. He's dead. He's a dead
Right.
man.
Right.
He's alive. He's chilling in prison. Let me actually find that article. Hold on, because it's actually a very interesting article. 1 second.
Yeah.
Italian mobster murdered by by.
But yeah, now the guys who are like doing the crime are all instead of being like in the Northeast, like New York and all that, it's like kind of the Southwest and like Mexico. Like that's where a lot of the illegal shit, like those cartels are gnarly. They're gnarly fucking organizations, dude.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. There's not you can't organized crime
They
in
make money too.
Oh,
But yeah,
they're organized crime in the United States is you have the gangs, right? You know, Young Thug, his gang is under RICO, which I think is bullshit, but it's whatever. Mexico, those fuckers are scary, dude. Now, like that's like shit where it's like if you walk in the wrong part of any city in California, like you know, you might be able to get your way out of it. If you're in Mexico, dude, they just don't care. They're just gonna kill you. Like
Yeah.
those are some ruthless fucking people. Like I don't know if you know this in Mexico. For anyone, if you ever plan on going to Mexico, do not drive with a pickup truck because they're going to rob you and kill you for it. Do not go with a pickup truck. Just go fly there. And here's another story. So, in Mexico, when I went years ago, right? And I went with my dad. So we learned, for one, that the cartels control all of the hotels, resorts, and things like that.
Yeah.
But they also control like the cabs, right? They have they're very, very important to the Mexican economy, right? They control a lot of the stuff that keeps it going. So I remember we were trying to take an Uber and we just couldn't fucking, you know, and we were like, all right, let's just take a cab. And we asked the cab driver who's like, yo, why is there not many Uber drivers here? And keep in mind, this was like almost like 6, 7 years ago. And he was like, yeah, if you get caught as an Uber driver, people are going to beat you up. I'm like, what? He's like, they're like, yeah, they have such control over Mexico, right? Like Ubers, I don't know what it is now. So if this is completely irrelevant, correct me, right? Correct me in the comments. I don't know. I don't research, but this is when I was 14, right? I went with my dad, and this is what we were told, right? And you know how, like, everyone knows there's fucking corruption in the government. I think when Chapo was having his trials in the United States, somebody who ended up testifying against El Chapo's gang, the Sinaloa cartel, mentioned that the former president was working very closely with him, right?
Yeah.
In a huge corruption scandal. And I remember going on his Instagram. I remember going on that president's Instagram as a kid. It's just all a bunch of rat emojis, to the president of Mexico at the time.
Yeah.
The cartel is worldwide. Yeah, worldwide they are the most powerful. The big ones in Mexico, Colombia. The way cocaine is distributed is okay. So you obviously had Pablo, right, and then you had the brothers like Pacho, the Herreras, whatever, right? You had that family. After that mess, right, it became so. Yeah. It just became a bunch of small groups in Colombia, right? Pablo Escobar's son is not allowed in Colombia anymore, right? Because all the little gangs are like, we're going to kill you. Now, Mexico, after Felix died, the Mexican guy who kind of started that whole federation, right? It became a bloodbath between all of them. Yeah. And it's still kind of ongoing from what I know. But the thing with Mexico
down there.
But the thing with Mexico is like once Chapo's done, right? He's not going to get out of a United States. He's not getting out of a United States prison. That's not going to happen. It's just the next guy's up. Like whoever the next guy's up, I don't know who it is, but there's no, it's not like Al Qaeda where they haven't been making any noise because, right? Well, one, because ISIS is pretty much paid by the United States to kill these guys, right? So they just have we've destabilized the Middle East completely, right? But it's always the next guy up. So cocaine, because there's just so much money tied to it, it's by far the most they're the most powerful violent gangs in the world.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're super gnarly, and the government there is super corrupt. There was There was a DEA agent who the cartel killed in like the 80s or 90s.
So Felix Gallardo is the one who got him guacked, and that was like the big turning point for America to go into Mexico and get him.
Yeah, but because we found the tapes of them interrogating him before they killed him. And he was under duress and like being tortured and stuff. But like the stuff he was saying is like he was dropping the names of like the Mexican president at the time. Like a bunch of people were involved in this shit, and it's very corrupt down there, and it's fucking brutal, man. It's a tough place to be. Everything is under the thumb of some very violent people. And what you were saying too is very true. Like if you look at the history of it, like when the guy who's running shit gets taken down, whether it's in Colombia or whether it's in Mexico, like it's almost never like a good thing in the long run, because like the guys in Cali go down or Felix goes down, and it's like it just becomes a war of all the guys who weren't smart enough to bring it all together.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing with Colombia now, where it's just a bunch of small gangs are just kind of keeping their space. So it's kind of like America and like LA, where like they like kind of control. But Mexico is just because I mean Chapo's dead. So Chapo's right hand guy is a guy named Mayo. He's the business behind the whole thing. So they're not done as a cartel. They're not done. He was the business. Chapo's the face. Like the Sinaloa cartel is not done yet. They're not close. But if they capture Mayo. If they capture Mayo, you might not have the brains behind the whole operation anymore, right? So that's there. I'm actually looking at the DEA's. I'm looking at the DEA's most wanted drug lord list. There's a lot of people in China, actually. Like I did not know this.
I think that's where they make heroin because there's poppy over there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but I'm seeing fentanyl for these guys. So so a guy named here, it'll just be so his name is Chuen Yip, a $5 million reward. All right, come on, bro.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's like it's like Pushpinder as a name. It's just funny.
Chuan Yip.
Yep.
So Chuan Yip, he lives in Wuhan.
Dude, he looks. I'm looking at him right now. He just looks like a regular guy.
He looks like he owns a local mom and pop hole in the wall
like
Asian
a laundromat.
restaurant. Yeah. Like a very nice guy who was like, okay, this time I give you $10 off, but not next time. Like that type of guy, you know what I mean? So there's him. There's
Kun Jang.
Kun Jang looks kind of ferocious, bro.
He looks scary, yeah.
Yeah, so like, this is a guy I wouldn't mess with. So this is fentanyl. Fentanyl trafficking. So where's he live? Yeah, Asia. Where's his location? Wow, they don't know his address, dude. I mean, dude, there's so many fucking people in China. It's like...
There's a ton of people in China. Well, yeah, dude, fentanyl is a big problem right now. Yeah. It's really not good.
And I mean, so I'm actually looking at this list too. A lot of these guys are wanted for fentanyl now. It seems like.
Yeah.
Most of these guys are fentanyl. So this Liborio Nunez Aguirre, he's a fentanyl guy. Where?
Well, I think it's. I think they're not manufacturing cocaine as much now too, because like during COVID, during COVID, all the labs couldn't get together apparently, and then so when the lockdowns got lifted in Colombia, they like mass produced a bunch of cocaine in case they would run out of supply in the event of another lockdown, because they know it was going to happen. And so now they have like this massive surplus of cocaine, and so like the price of it is apparently lower, and like the coke market's weird apparently. Not that I would know like from a personal level, but that's what apparently there's a massive surplus of it, and so they're all just making other shit now because they don't need to make any more coke for the time being.
Well, I mean, they mix fentanyl. Well, here, I'll say this. Arizona has a really bad fentanyl problem right now. Downtown Phoenix, downtown Phoenix, Arizona. I'm gonna put like a little clip under this for the edits. Mm-hmm. Downtown Phoenix, Arizona has a horrible problem with fentanyl. It's really sad. They're called blues, and I think they're like a pill, which is like it's just fet, and they make people go crazy. There was this one video I remember I watched of some kid. I think his name was Junior. Who got it hooked onto this shit really quick, and it's impossible to get off of these things, right? It's not like cocaine, because like I went to a party school, right? I never did cocaine personally, but like I've seen people just do cocaine and get off of it pretty quickly, right? Like they just grow up, right? Like yes, you can get hooked to it, but fentanyl, heroin, crack, these are very, very addictive drugs, right? Arizona, downtown Phoenix. The homeless people in downtown Phoenix act very crazy, right? They're always tweaking. They're like twitching, right? Because homeless people in San Francisco are a lot more relaxed. They're just kind of bummy, right? You can maybe say the same thing with New York. But in downtown Phoenix, they're twitchy. They're always scratching. They're doing like weird random dances in the middle of the street. And that's fentanyl. It's such a crazy drug. And you take too much, it kills you. If you go to a music festival, right, they understand people are going to bring pills there, right? They know that. They have like tents where you can test the pills to make sure there's no fentanyl in it, right?
Yeah.
It's
well, there's a lot of it is like the cartels like don't want it to mix, but there's like so many amateurs putting shit together that like it does. And so what they've started doing is like the powder form of it. They've started dyeing it pink, so people can tell if there's any of it in there. So like if you buy Coke apparently and there's like a pinkish hue to it, you know it's laced with some fentanyl, or maybe not even laced, like some accidentally got in there or something like that. Apparently that's happening more often than it's being like intentionally laced, because they know like if you take the two at the same time, you're very likely to die, and they don't want to kill their customers.
Yeah, so
it's apparently like a problem for them. Like they don't like that it's laced, but it is obviously because it's a massive problem.
Okay, speaking of pink cocaine, Have you heard of the drug called Tusi before?
No.
Okay, in Colombia, there's this pink cocaine. It's actually a pink cocaine, and most of it contains fentanyl. It's like a party drug, right? Don't quote me on this, but imagine it's like a mixture of cocaine, Molly, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And pretty much because Colombia's drug scene is now just a bunch of local small gangs, they're lacing it with fentanyl, and it's the most popular drug in Colombia. And apparently,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna do it, obviously, but like apparently, like the high is incredibly, it's like an insane high, but it's incredibly fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
So that might be one of the other like the pink cocaine thing you might be thinking of, right? But wait, I would think that these drug cartels would want to put fentanyl in their cocaine, right, in like micro bits to make it like a cheaper to get more profit margins, you know.
I think I heard someone explaining this. It was a DEA guy. And he was trying to say that like the mixing of cocaine and fentanyl is not intentional, and they don't like it because it like fucks with the business over the long term, and they're starting to see the effects of that. I think they like initially were doing it, and then they realized like it was fucking something up with like, you know, supply and demand or some shit. I'm not a econ guy, but like he was saying that now they're trying to keep that from happening, and they have all these strategies like the pink shit. They're doing other things like with the coloring and like but they just there's so many steps that these drugs take along the way from manufacturing to distribution, and there's a bunch of tweakers who are at different points of this chain, and so they keep fucking shit up and mixing stuff when they don't want it to be mixed, and that's at least part of the reason why that's such a problem, is what this guy was saying.
Wow, so the cartels are really looking for our health, is what you're telling me. They want
I guess they care. Yeah, I guess they care.
Chapo cares more. You know, I would. El Chapo cares more about your health than the CEO of Pepsi or the CEO of Coca-Cola. That's what you're telling me. Free Chapo, dude.
Yeah.
Free Chapo. He just wants a bunch of young healthy adults.
I think he's in Colorado, right, or Nevada.
So he's in that super prison in Colorado. They have him.
Yeah.
So he's there. I think the Unabomber actually just passed away. He was there. The Boston Marathon bomber is there right now. He's awaiting his trial, actually.
The Boston guy is?
Yeah, there was the two bombers, the younger brothers there right now. There's a video of him that actually, let me find the video. I'll show it. But he's there right now.
Dude, I bet you Chapo runs that place. He's just fucking slinging dick to all these guys.
That's not how this prison works, dude. You don't meet other prisoners. It's a that prison is a human's right violation. And I get it why, you know, you have the worst people in there, right? You have to do some really screwed up shit to make it in there.
Right.
Like it's not it's not like a murder or two. You're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bodies. The leader of the GDs, the gangster disciples in Chicago, like, you know how Chicago has like the GDs, gangster disciples, the black disciples. The founder of that, I'm like 50% sure he's in there, right? So to get into this Colorado prison, there is a lot of fucked up shit you have to do, right? You have to be like a notorious, like you have to have some clout behind the name as well to get into this prison. I'm actually gonna let me pull some stuff. Colorado prison supermax facts. Let me pull.
Why
up
was
some
I
facts.
thinking Nevada? OJ was in Nevada. That's why I was thinking Nevada.
Okay, so it's called the ADX Florence prison in Colorado. All right, it is a supermax prison that has a reputation for being escape proof. Right, so this is where El Chapo is currently. Right now. So people saying it is worse than death. As soon as they come through the door, you see it in their face. That's when it hits you. You're looking at the beauty of the Rocky Mountains in the backdrop, and when you get inside, it's the last time you will ever see it. In my opinion, it's far worse than death. It is a horrible prison. I'm trying to find like the actual little like fun fact. Or not, it's not fun facts, but like the actual like what is life like inside. There we go. What's life like inside the Supermax prison? So the architecture. There's about 400 inmates, and they spend. Okay, here we go. The architecture is the control. Many of the more than 400 inmates spend as much as 23 hours a day alone in a 7 by 12 foot concrete cell. Meals are slid through small holes in the door. Bed is a concrete slab with a thin mattress and blankets. A single window, about 42 inches high and 4 inches wide, allows a little bit natural light, but it's made so prisoners cannot see beyond the building. Cells have unmovable stools and desks made of concrete. Solid walls prevent prisoners from seeing other cells or having any other contact with inmates. So that's how you pretty much they have your whole life. You can't. I think that prison's designed for you to go crazy and just kill. Just off.
And are
yourself.
are you in solitary the whole time, or do they get yard time? Does it say anything about that?
I'm trying to look. So some cells have radios and black and white TVs, including religious, educational, and general interest programs. Mail and conversations are monitored at all times by the ADX Warren John Oliver. At Tsarnaev's hearing, so this is the Boston bomber guy, hearing inmates at some point may be able to get into prison jobs such as cleaning showers or move into the general population. So they do have a general population, it seems, but the very high profile guys aren't, they're not going to get into that. But the level of freedom as a prisoner, such as Zainara, would ultimately determined only by the Justice Department and the AGs and the agencies. Okay, so this is like a post Boston
so each
bombing.
Gets like different levels of privileges based on who they are and behavior and all that shit.
So
do they never see the sun? They're just fucked.
No. They get the little natural. You get natural light, but it's so high up you can't. It's just to give you that illusion, right? Like you don't. You're in Colorado. It's one of the most beautiful states in the world, right? Here are some of the guys who are in that prison right now. So you have the World Trade Center terrorist. So this is not the guy who flew a plane. This was the guy in '93 who did the bombing. It killed 6 people, and he's been in 15 years in solitary confinement, and so he's held in the H unit. So I think the H unit is like what you want to avoid. Obviously, you have Chapo now.
Does H stand for hell?
Probably, yeah. There's a former FBI agent, Robert Hansen. He is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for his role in spying in the Soviet Union and Russia. Oh, for the Soviet. My bad.
Yeah.
So this guy was a spy for the Soviet Union.
He's a
and
double
Russia.
agent. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's see. We have Terry Nichols. Okay, this guy. Oh wow. Okay, so this guy he was a part of the bomb that detonated at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma, and it killed 168 people. So he's there. Like I said, these are.
This is Oklahoma City, right?
Yep.
That guy's there.
Yep. Who's this guy?
Fuck, man.
This guy This guy, Eric Robert Rudolph, he's serving 4 life sentences plus 120 years on an attack at Atlanta's Centennial Olympic Park in '96. 2 people died, but 100 were injured. Umar, I can't pronounce this name. Umar Farouk Abdul Matulab is serving a life in prison for smuggling a bomb in his underwear aboard a commercial airliner on Christmas Day. So this guy tried to put a bomb in his underwear, and he, obviously got that.
Wow.
Unabomber, a 7-Eleven.
What year did he do that? The bomb thing.
The guy who snuck
in his underwear. Yeah.
2009.
2009. Okay.
Yeah, a little kind of stupid.
I don't remember that. Was it like
yeah.
a story, or did they
nothing?
just kind of
Nothing. They just caught him before he did anything,
Okay.
but they put him in the supermax. Another
Yeah.
guy who was actually involved in the 9/11 hijackings is currently there right now. There is Dr. Michael Swango is serving 3 life sentences in connection for the murder of 3 patients in New York. And then who's this guy? And then there was the mastermind behind the actual bombings itself. 240 years plus multiple life sentences. So, and the Unabomber obviously is the big one, but like these are not these are not. I think Chapo might be the newest like big name in there, but these are not. These are not lightweights. And like you kind of see some of the things these guys do, and it's like, yeah, you understand it's a human's right. Like obviously it's like the human's right aspect of it, but it's like also it's like, dude, these are not some fucking low level crimes. Like these are some serious. This is serious shit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you said there's like a normal like general pop there too.
I believe so. Yeah, Ted John. Yeah, that's him. Doctor.
Imagine like being the warden of a place like that.
Yeah.
You know, like you've seen Shawshank Redemption, right?
No.
Okay, it's a good movie, but
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. But like the warden in that movie is a dick. You know, but I feel like there's probably not a lot of wardens of prisons that are like cool people. I feel like you're kind of selecting for some certain traits, and they're not. You know, you have to like get a kick out of making someone never see the sun again.
Yeah, I mean, this is. Let's actually look up at what the warden of ADX.
Yeah, like what does he look like?
His name is John Oliver. Here, I'll share my screen. John Oliver, ADX Florence. ADX Florence warden. Okay, so there's a new warden actually. Let's see. One second. Okay, I can't find much about this guy.
Yeah, it's probably by design. What's his name? John.
Here, I actually found his LinkedIn.
Hit him up for a quick 15-minute.
Would you like a Starbucks gift card for a quick informational? Yeah, I don't care if you have no. That's funny. Let me share my screen. Share screen. All right, this is the guy right here. All right.
Wow.
Andrew Chioli. All right.
And he's the complex warden, Federal
Yeah.
Bureau of Prisons. I'm excited and humbled to announce I was selected to be the new captain of FCI McDowell. That's so interesting.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure actually. It said this name. FDX.
He's
ADX,
a warden though.
ADX Florence. Dude, we should try to get this guy as an interview, bro.
That'd be pretty wild. I'm sure. Maybe he was not much of a talker though. I could see that.
ADX Flores.
Oh, that looks miserable.
Oh
Fuck
yeah,
me, dude.
Colorado. ADX Flores, Colorado.
Have you seen Tin City out here?
No.
That looks gnarly too. It's just depressing to look at.
Okay, let's see. So this is the right one. Your Florence. Yep. All right. Let's look. Okay, 328. Who's the Warren? All right, bro. We gotta find the Warren and okay, yeah. So this is the guy, Andrew Cioli. So according to Wikipedia, this is currently the warden of ADX Florence. This guy right
Yeah.
here. So let's see. Inmate
You should
population.
request him.
I'll request him later. Yeah. Okay. Here's actually
Yeah, man.
here's the room. So this is what a cell looks like. So this is a good behavior cell. Okay.
Oh God.
And remember, this is a slab of concrete right here.
Uh-huh.
All right. This is a slab of concrete right here. And this is your toilet. You can't move it. And then this is your desk. So I think they're saying this is the. Wow, your shower's on a timer. So this is your. Okay, this is your desk and table, which you can't move. And this is the little. Wow. So this is interesting. You don't actually see sunlight. The light is reflecting in a way where you can't look outside, but you get the natural sunlight. So you can't see outside. You can get the natural sunlight, but it's at an angle where you can't see. Dude, this is
That's
miserable.
crazy.
And
There's just, I feel like sleeping in your bathroom too would just be, that would get old real fast.
yeah, I mean, this is also
Like sleeping next to a toilet.
yeah. I mean, this is what gets you.
You
This
just
is about
smell your shit.
yeah. This is about 2,000 a month in New York. So like, it's not
Yeah.
you know.
No fucking kidding, dude.
All right, let's see. Suicides at the prison. Wow. All right. And by the way, if you're listening on only audio at this, we're gonna start doing this a lot more and try to bring guests. You got to kind of come to the YouTube so you can see. Great. You gotta.
Yeah,
so
come check it out.
so you
Or
got
Google, but
yeah. So boom. These are the terrorists, which make
if
these,
you're
yeah.
driving, Google it and look at the pictures.
Okay. So domestic terrorist, Unabomber, espionage.
Is this our
So-
only? So is this like, if someone's a bad motherfucker,
These
is
are
this the
this is
only
where-
place we send them to, or do we have other ones that we do?
This is the worst place. Like Chapo's here.
This is the worst
you know,
one?
This is the worst one. Like you got to be a special type of fucked up to get into here. Like here. So these are the guys. So life sentence. Chicago gangster. I don't know. I'm trying to see if names I can remember. Yeah, okay. So I know this guy. I've seen a documentary about this guy. He was a big drug trafficker in New York. Chapo. So Larry Hoover, where was he? Larry Hoover, he was the lead of the GDs in Chicago. So if you, I know you don't know much about hip hop, but if you ever see like guys like Lil Durk and King Von and those guys, that's like the gang. I don't know. It's like one of the gangs they rival with or they claim. So he's
I
in
know
this
Lil
prison
Durk.
as well. Yeah. So that's the gang. He Lil Durk always yells "Free Larry Hoover" in his music. Let's see.
Interesting.
Oh wow, this guy's from Arizona. All right, let's see. Jesse Conui. Already jailed for killing a gang rival in Arizona, Conui was convicted and sentenced to life in prison for the murder. Oh, okay, so he killed a corrections officer. Wow. Let's see.
While he was already in jail. That's
yeah.
fucking
He's
metal.
from Arizona. Yeah. He is from AZ.
Look at that guy, dude. He looks scary.
Yeah, scary as fuck, bro. That's why I don't mess with random people, dude.
It's in the eyes, dude.
I just mind my business, dude. Let's see.
It's in the eyes.
Latest listed release of dude. Come on, bro. This is like, you know what I mean? Just like this is mean, bro. Like this dude is like his listed release is 2,119. Like, what are we doing here, bro? Just call it a life. Just call it a life sentence, you know?
Yeah, there's some funny ones. Like, I might have just been in a TV show or something, but I think I saw this, but I think it was a TV show actually. But they gave him like 1,000-year sentence or something. It's like fuck that.
Yeah, there is. Who is the DC snipers? Do you remember their name? They might be in here as well. I think one of them's dead.
No, but I listened to there's a podcast, I forget which one it was, but the guy who caught them did an interview and like talked about the whole trying to like find them and shit. And that's a crazy story. I wish I could like plug the show, but I don't. I listened to it years ago. But
Yeah, the younger one did an interview from prison.
He
the
did.
younger kid, he did an interview. We'll start off next episode talking about that. Then, well, I mean, otherwise we'll be here forever. But yeah, the younger kid, the younger guy, he did an interview. I think he said he was like, I got like a part of me. It's like, dude, he killed a lot of people, but I know he was manipulated. Right, he was in a very bad way into doing it. I think he should serve a life sentence. Right, let's not. But like a part of me, it's like, dude, like. He was raised by pretty much a cult. Like, it was a very.
Was he a minor?
I think he was 16.
Or was he just over 18?
I think he was 16,
Yeah,
17
that's
when
tough.
he got. I don't know. We'll fact check it. We don't want to get hit with the fact checkers in the comments, but very very crazy stuff, dude. I don't know what prison he's in. I think he might have been here, but because that dude nearly tried to kill a 6 or 7-year-old dude, like some elementary school
Yeah.
kid. Yeah,
it's-
nuts.
Well, so I know a guy. I didn't know. So I know a guy, and he was 16 or 17, and he got in a fight with someone and literally curb stomped them. Apparently, so I went to high school with this kid, and he left. And then one day he just disappears from school, and no one talks about it. We're like, where the fuck did he go? And no one knew. Found out later that he like curb stomped a guy, killed him, went away to juvie, and got out when he was 18. And now this guy who killed someone is married with 2 kids. Like, I'll show you him on Facebook sometime, but like it's just wild. And
Wow.
So I never saw him after he did it, but I knew him. I saw him probably within a month. Like, I probably saw him a month before he did that. And then he like went away, disappeared. No one knew where he was. And we were all in college, and someone found like the story on the internet. And then we looked him up on Facebook, and he like had already had a kid, and now he's like got another one.
That's
It's crazy.
nuts. Yeah, even there was a professor at Arizona State who ended up passing away. He ended up getting killed. I think he was a very smart guy. I think he was a part of the engineering school, like the bioengineering school. And he got murdered by these 2 people, a girl and a guy, and I think they tried to lured him into like a tent, right? And they just killed the guy. I'm not gonna say why he went to the tent. It sounds, I don't want to make a joke, right? I don't want people to think I'm trying to make a joke, but I mean I'll say, I mean, it's a story. He was thinking it was like a prostitution thing, and he apparently that's the rumor, and he got killed. Crazy, yeah. Some
Brutal
stuff, dude. Yeah. All right. Well, we're almost at 2 hours.
Way to end it on a
so-
happy note.
Well, let's actually end it on a happy note.
Okay.
Once again, if you, I know no one made it this far, but once again, if you guys
Right.
potentially did, maybe down the line in like 10 years or whatever, 5 years when you were at 1 million or something like that, you maybe made it to our 100 subscriber special, see how far we came, right?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for watching. 100 subscribers, it means the world to us, right? We're obviously this is going to be something we're doing in parallel. With stand-up careers. Speaking of stand-up, August 20th, stand-up live. If you're in Arizona and you somehow hear this, just say my name, you'll get in free. And then August 27th at JP's, that Sunday, same thing. Just say my name, you'll get in. It's a showcase. So, anyway, 100 subs. Thank you guys. Jackson, you have anything else to say to our loyal 104 subs?
Yeah, come check out Rohan on the 20th, and you're doing the 27th too
Yeah, I'm doing the 27th as well.
at JP's. Come check out one of those. He's got a killer 5 minutes. Come check it out. He's been working really hard on it. Other than that, yeah, thanks for subscribing. We'll see you soon.
To our next 1,000, then 100K, then million. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.